Welcome and thanks for joining us. In this video, we will be running a quick demo of the Birdscapes card game and covering its major mechanics. While it does cover the basics, we encourage you to read the rules and visit our how-to video in the link shown below. In round 1 of the video, we show how to set up the game and how basic territory point calculation works. In round 3, we show what to do in the case of a tie, and how habitat and flocking bonuses come into effect. Migration is also explained at the end of this round. Lastly, in round 5 of the video, we explain how action cards come into play and how bird effects are used in addition to all previous concepts explained. Feel free to pause and rewind the video as you go, and enjoy. Players begin the game by separating Birdscape cards with yellow backing and Birdscape cards with green backing. If playing family mode, randomly distribute 22 green-backed cards amongst players. If playing official mode, players bring their own 32 card deck. Each player begins the game by drawing 9 cards from their deck into their hand. The objective of the game is to win the most territory points by the end of 8 rounds of play. At the beginning of round 1, players flip out the first habitat card from the habitat deck out onto the playing field. Players then place as many live cards from their hand as they would like out next to each specific habitat face down. Once all players have placed cards and agree to begin calculating territory points, players flip their cards face up. Players then calculate who wins the territory point for that round at the habitat by calculating who has the highest stat in the most categories out of power, resilience, and will. Player 2 has a power of 6, a resilience of 7, and a will of 9, while player 1 has a power of 2, resilience of 8, and a will of 7. Player 2 has won 2 out of the 3 categories, and therefore takes the first territory point of the game. Neither player chooses to migrate, and the end of round 1 is indicated by an automatic draw of 1 card to end the round. To begin round 3, players flip a new habitat card as they do each round from the habitat deck. Players may then place as many live cards from their hand as they would like to, out next to each specific habitat, whether old or new, into the playing field face down. Once all players are ready, players turn over their new face down live cards on the playing field. At habitat number 1, player number 1 has a power of 8, resilience of 8, and a will of 8, which ties player 2 with a power of 7, resilience of 8, and a will of 9, since each bird won 1 category and then tied in the other. However, during a tie, the rarer bird card wins, leading to the rare Greater Roadrunner beating the Osprey and taking the territory point. At habitat number 2, the Salt Bay leads to a habitat bonus for player 1's eared grebe, increasing their power, resilience, and will by 2 each. Since 2 eared grebes flock together, they attain a flocking bonus of +1, leading to a resulting power of 5, resilience of 10, and will of 5. However, player 2 also receives a flocking bonus with his Canada geese of +2, resulting in a power of 7, resilience of 11, and a will of 9, leading them to take the territory point. At habitat 3, due to player 1's flocking bonus of +3, player 1 now has a power of 4, a resilience of 9, and a will of 4. While player 2 has a power of 4, a resilience of 5, and a will of 8. Since all bird cards competing for the point are common, no player takes the territory point. After all territory points have been calculated, players may choose to migrate their bird cards if they wish. During migration, players may migrate as many or as little bird cards as they wish. For migration, players have 3 options: to migrate their bird card to a new habitat, keep their bird card where it is at, or discard the bird card and pick up a new card. Migration starts at the oldest habitat in play and works toward the newest habitat in play. Player 1 begins by choosing to discard their black phoebe at the alpine slopes. Player 2 chooses to move their American kestrel over to the Salt Bay habitat. At the Salt Bay, player 1 chooses to discard their eared grebes in return for drawing 2 cards. At the Open Woods, both players choose to keep their bird cards present. To end round 3, both players end by drawing a card. At the beginning of round 5, a new habitat is flipped out into the playing field, and once again, players will place live cards face down on the playing field. Once all live cards are placed, players may flip their cards over to begin calculating territory points. At the Alpine Slopes habitat, player 2 wins once again due to the rarity of the bird card breaking the tie. At the Salt Bay habitat, the action card Oil Spill comes into effect before territory points are calculated, which negates any territory point from being won at that habitat. At the Open Woods habitat, we have bird effects coming into play. Since the mourning doves have a passive effect, or other words, an effect that cannot be chosen, their effect comes into play first, preventing the peregrine falcon's conditional effect, or other words, an effect that can be chosen, from discarding the mourning doves. However, player 1's peregrine falcon chooses to use his bird effect and discard player 2's American robin. The action card Deforestation then comes into effect, leading to all players' initial resilience to equal 1 before bonuses are calculated. Since the mourning doves have a flocking bonus of +3, the mourning doves then receive a final power of 4, resilience of 4, and a will of 4, versus the peregrine falcon's power of 9, resilience of 1, and a will of 9, leading to the peregrine falcon to take the territory point. At the Ocean Cliffs habitat, player 2 receives a habitat bonus of +4, causing their power to equal 11, resilience of 12, and a will of 12. However, player 1 receives a flocking bonus of +8 due to 5 western bluebirds flocking together. This leads to player 1's western bluebird flock to have a power of 11, a resilience of 14, and a will of 14, taking the territory point for the win. At the Grasslands habitat, urbanization comes into effect, which negates player 1's western kingbird from having a habitat bonus of +6. Player 2's bird effect comes into play, causing the California quail to have an initial will of 5 before bonuses are calculated. Due to flocking and habitat bonuses, the California quails take the territory point with a power of 16, a resilience of 21, and a will of 19, versus the western kingbird's power of 5, resilience of 8, and a will of 9. Play would then continue through until 8 rounds have been completed, and the player with the most territory points at the end of the game wins.